Been to court?
Answer questions, officer.
You want to answer questions? Yeah. All right, what's in that bag right there?
Again, I don't answer questions.
Okay. But for my safety, I want to know what's in that bag. It's in a reachable distance. So
what's in that bag?
I'll
put it behind me. There's no problem.
Okay, but it's right now in there, so I need to see what's inside of it.
So you can see what's inside my bag?
Yes, for my safety.
What law is that?
The law is that it's for my officer's safety.
But I'm not going to give you any of my personal property. I don't consent to any searches, seizures, or anything. Detained or subject to arrest?
You're being detained.
Detained for what? I just want to know what I'm being detained for.
You're being detained for officer safety.
Officer safety? That's not... What law is that? What crime have I...
You mentioned facing some diversity and some prejudice because of your heritage or perhaps your skin color. Did that play a role in the traffic stop we're seeing in this video?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Nah, to anybody watching this video, stand up for your rights, man. Stop letting them bully us. Don't be scared because of the way we look. Like I said, tattoos, I got it all, the whole shebang. And if I did it, you could do it. And it's time for us to stand up as people. And I mean, when I say people, I mean as Americans, no matter what color we are, we all need to stand together and fight evil.
What's going on, everybody? And today's video comes from Adrian Romero. I was sent this video, I watched it, and I was two things: disgusted by the cops and impressed by Adrian. In fact, I was so impressed with him, I tracked him down and I reached out to him. And he walked me through this horrifying video in detail. In fact, he conducted a full interview. Stick around to the end of the video and you can watch it. But let's just put it this way. Massachusetts State Police Officer Barbosa saw a dark-skinned individual driving a modified Honda. He initiated a traffic stop on the false pretenses that the windows had a legal tint. But instead of getting the tint meter that he had in his patrol vehicle, he started down a racially motivated agenda of questioning, demanding that Adrian give up his Fourth Amendment right, because your Fourth Amendment right can be waived if it's in favor of officer safety. He also violated Adrian's Fifth Amendment right, demanding that he didn't answer questions. And although remaining silent to police can't be construed as guilt, that didn't stop this cop from trying to turn this victim into a suspect. When all was said and done, Adrian never got out of the car, and a tint meter was finally brought, all to prove what Adrian knew before he ever got pulled over. His tint was totally legal. The only thing that was illegal was one dirty Mass State Trooper with a racial agenda trying to violate someone's rights. Let's jump in the video. Adrian's sitting passenger seat in his own vehicle. After a long day of work and his car being in the shop, his mechanic is driving him home when the lights go on and he's pulled over in Dorchester, a notorious tough neighborhood. The only crime happening today is from one unstable, unhinged, and trigger-happy cop. In walks Officer Barbosa. And what happens next will shock and outrage you.
How you guys doing?
How are you, officer?
Doing well. Trooper Barbosa with the State Police. Should be an audio and video record on my body camera.
We do too.
As well.
Everywhere.
Beautiful. The reason for the stop is these tints look too dark. What are the percentages on these?
To be honest with you, I have no idea. You can test them if you want.
Okay, I'm going to test them. You got your license and registration, man?
Vehicle belongs to me.
Belongs to you. I need yours, too, because you're not belted in, so I have the right to ask you, too.
For not having a seatbelt?
Yeah.
In Massachusetts, not wearing a seatbelt is a secondary offense, one that Adrian ultimately got a $35 citation for. But the interesting part about this is that the safety belt is a secondary violation, which means in the state of Massachusetts, a police officer cannot pull you over solely for not wearing your seatbelt. There must be a primary offense. Right now, this officer's quoting window tint that he suspects to be too dark. But the window tint's legal, which means the secondary offense of not wearing his seatbelt is null and void. And since the tint's legal, this cop just lost his moving violation and his reasonable articulable suspicion that Adrian had been involved in a crime, misdemeanor, or said moving violation. Which means the whole stop from that point on is illegal. It's also the reason Adrian's suing.
Where are you guys headed tonight?
I'm gonna drop him off. I'm staying with the car because I'm his mechanic.
Oh, nice. Where are you mechanic out of?
I work on a shop in Washington Street.
Okay, cool.
Hold the phone facing him.
What about you? What do you do for work?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
I don't answer questions.
You don't answer questions?
No. I don't
okay,
answer
cool.
questions.
What's in that duffel bag right there?
It's stuff to clean my vehicle.
Stuff to clean your car?
Yep.
All right, man. Cool. You ever been pulled over before?
Nope.
Pulling? Who haven't been pulled over? Who a long time?
Yeah? What about you? Have you?
I don't answer questions.
You don't answer questions?
No, sir.
I have the right to ask you a question, though.
I understand, and I have the right to refuse it.
Okay. You ever in the court for any reason? You ever in the court for any reason?
Man, I'm too old for that. I'm 40 years old, man.
Okay.
I ain't got time for that. I need born at home.
Okay. What about you? You ever been to court?
I answer questions, officer.
You don't answer questions?
Yeah.
All right, what's in that bag right there?
Again, I don't answer questions.
Okay. But for my safety, I want to know what's in that bag because it's in a reachable distance. So
You
what's
want me
in
to put
that
it behind me?
bag?
I'll put it behind me. There's no problem.
Okay, but it's right now in there, so I need to see what's inside of it.
So you can see what's inside my bag.
Yes, for my safety.
What law is that?
The law is that it's for my officer's safety.
Now, I have an excellent handle on the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution. And the Fourth Amendment guarantees you the right to be secure in your person's papers and effects. It also protects you from any unwarranted illegal searches and seizures. And in no part of the Fourth Amendment does it state that your Fourth Amendment right can be waived for officer safety. The only thing that can waive your Fourth Amendment right is consent from the person being searched, or a warrant signed by a judge. Some huge with a badge doesn't trump your right to be free from illegal search.
And it's in the reachable distance and I can see it.
I'll put my hands wherever you want me to place them, but I'm not going to give you any of my personal property. I don't consent to any searches, seizures, or anything.
Sounds good.
Now, the first cop didn't get away with violating Adrian's Fourth Amendment rights, so it's time to call in backup, and maybe more cops will help put on the pressure. Because if by himself he couldn't scare him into giving up his rights, maybe his buddies can. Now here's the biggest part of Adrian's lawsuit. Watch in a second. You're about to see Barbosa come up and try and open the passenger door. Completely illegal, and the Supreme Court has ruled on this several times, that an officer can't touch your door or open your vehicle without a warrant. Now, the holding in Pennsylvania v. Mims states that for the safety of the public, the occupants of a vehicle, or for officer safety, the occupants of that vehicle can be temporarily removed from the car, and that removal doesn't violate their Fourth Amendment rights. While I, and assume all of you, disagree, that's the holding, but it doesn't apply here. Adrian got pulled over for tint. The cop immediately, by policy, has to measure the tint on the window. Had he done that in a reasonable time, he would have seen the tint was in compliance with state law, and Adrian would have been on his way. He wouldn't be getting his Fourth Amendment violated and being threatened to be ripped out of the car. Good old-fashioned case of fruit of the poisonous tree. The moment Officer or Trooper Barbosa did something illegal, anything that happened after that is fruit of the poisonous tree, or non-submissible in court.
Whatever they want. I'm not stepping out this car unless they pull me out of it.
All right, man. Open this door.
Why do I need to get out of the vehicle?
I'm taking you out of the vehicle.
For what reason?
Officer safety.
What law did I break?
What's in the bag?
Can I get your name and badge number, please?
Barbosa 5191.
And you, officer, name and badge number?
4674.
So if I don't get out the vehicle, I am what, being detained or subject to arrest?
You're being detained.
Detained for what? I just want to know what I'm being detained for.
You're being detained for officer safety.
Officer safety, that's not, what law is that? What crime have I committed?
You asked you to step out and have a conversation with him, man.
Yeah, but what crime have I committed though? I haven't committed no crime. He said he stopped me over for tents. I told him to check the tents. Give me a ticket fee. How soon I'll be on my way?
Not yet, no.
Let me get my tent rear.
Yeah.
Just down a little bit.
I don't feel safe, officer. Honestly,
You don't feel safe with me?
I do not feel safe
To
at all.
talk to me?
No, not at all.
Right. So that's at 100 right now, right?
Okay.
It's all right. It's rated 35.
Okay.
So it's legal.
Yes, sir. Stay in the car, right?
We have no plans of leaving.
What's that?
We have no plans of leaving.
Whose car is this?
It belongs to me.
How come you're not driving?
You gotta be kidding me. A racially motivated traffic stop on both illegal and false pretenses. A violation of the driver's and passenger's Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights. The second cop has now disproven the first cop, showing the driver had committed no crime or infraction and was in fact pulled over and is now being detained illegally. And for the Massachusetts State Police, that's still not enough. They need to ask more questions. They just misjudged Adrian. They saw a darker-skinned male in a modified vehicle in a bad part of town, and they assumed he had to be doing something wrong, so they went down this rabbit hole. Ultimately, they found out he did nothing wrong, which puts them in a very precarious situation. This guy might just sue them, so before he has a chance to sue them, they need to find something, anything at this point, even if they make it up, that they can hold against him later. And this is what they call community policing.
Well, because I had him drive. I had a long day today, so I told him to take over. He's going to drop me off at my place, and he's going to take my car.
And I'm staying with the car.
What's that?
I got to work on it.
You're working on the car?
Yeah, he's my personal mechanic.
Work on it, yep.
Personal mechanic. Okay. What's wrong with the car?
Nothing. He's just going to add some modifications to it, that's all.
All right. What's in the bag?
In the bag right here, the duffel bag?
Yeah.
A bunch of cleaning supplies for my vehicle.
Okay. You didn't want to show him?
The officer?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why I have to.
You don't have to, but usually when people have cleaning supplies and an officer asks to see it, they just show them.
If an officer asks to see what's inside your bag, most people would just show him. This just proves the cops aren't all to blame. It's you bootlickers out there too. You're setting a very dangerous precedent. Officer safety and their feelings protection should be paramount to anything else, including your inalienable rights. These cops get so comfortable from the bootlicking that if they meet or interact with anyone who stands on any of their rights, they immediately consider the exercising of their rights unlawful and a crime. And that's the cop logic. Bootlicker lets us violate all their rights. This equals any other citizen that doesn't give up their rights to police must be committing a crime, and they must be profiled, whether it be racially or any other manner.
No, I understand. I don't want to make you guys' job any difficult than what it already is, but personally, I don't really like answering questions, and when he came up, honestly, I just felt threatened. And honestly, I don't feel safe with neither of you two being here. Okay. And him trying to force me out of my vehicle is very unlawful because I haven't committed any crime, so I don't see why I should be detained for any reason. Okay. So if he feels like my tints are too dark, he could have wrote me my ticket, did what you just did, officer, and I could have been on my way. There's no issue.
Well, he was good to go on taking you out all day long.
He was good to go on taking me out all day long?
Yeah.
For what reason?
For his officer safety.
Is that a law?
It's a command order to get out of the car. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So let's just say I didn't step out of the vehicle. Yeah. Would I be subject to arrest at any point if I did refuse?
Yeah, you're interfering with a police investigation.
Like I mentioned earlier, under the holding of Pennsylvania v. Mims, the officer's actually right, if this was a legal traffic stop. But it wasn't.
And what law is that? Do you mind? I'm just trying to be educated.
Yeah, Audi 25. You can look it up.
Okay.
All right. I get that. Look, you're not trying to cause us any other problems.
Not at all, officer.
We're here for everyone in the Massachusetts safety, right?
Correct.
So if he's asking you to do something and like you have cleaning supplies in a bag, why wouldn't you just show him the cleaning supplies?
Because I didn't think it was lawful.
What's that?
I didn't think it was lawful for me to have...
I don't understand. Like, you're telling me two different things that you're trying to make... You're feeling unsafe and you're not trying to cause problems with us.
Well, because I'm being honest with you, I do feel unsafe.
What do you feel unsafe about?
Wait, we got two police officers, two armed police officers. Are you kidding me? I mean, and let's be honest, the history of cops and what's going on lately, it doesn't look good. Okay. It just doesn't make me feel safe at all. Okay.
Am I good to go?
Yeah.
Guys, that video was crazy, and I guarantee you those cops had to go to their doctor and get treated for a serious case of vaginitis. That's because your boy in the video he came educated. He was knowledgeable. And this one really pissed me off. And I think the reason that it pissed me off the most is because I truly believe he was never pulled over for tint. I think there was something more sinister at play. And I think that to pull out his camera and to even stand on his rights was brave enough to begin with, because you never know what you're going to get with these cops nowadays. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the man from the video. His name's Adrian. Adrian, how are you, man?
I'm good, boss. How are you?
Good, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure.
So, you're from Boston, true Boston boy, born and bred. Is this your first experience with police like that?
Not at all. I had many encounters. Um, Stems all the way back since I was a kid, man, to like 11, 12. It's been a while.
So, what are some of the reasons that you came in contact with police? I mean, just dirty cops out looking to give you a hard time?
Yeah, that was the case most of the times, but I wasn't as well as educated as I am now. So I didn't realize my rights were being violated as a kid. You don't, and you see it going on with your friends, and it becomes normal. You know what I'm saying? So it was normal to me to see a police officer throw me up, against the fence, put his hands in my pockets, do all those kind of things, and uh, stuff like that became normal to me. So, and I saw that everybody around me wasn't, defending themselves either. So I'm like, who am I? So I kind of just went with the flow of it and kind of got used to it.
So what was the turning point where I mean, because that happened to me also, I was a kid, and I think as an adult, and I think back to all the kind of grimy stuff that the cops have done, and I say, if I knew then what I knew now,
100%.
what was kind of the turning point for you? What made you want to kind of get educated and understand your rights?
To be honest with you, I would say there's many reasons why. I could say one of them is because I became a father, and my children, I want to educate them too. I want them to know that because of, unfortunately, the world we live in, sometimes the color of our skin, can put us in a position where we don't want to be. So that's one reason. Another reason why is because again, I feel like knowledge is power, and educating yourself on the Constitution and watching, dude, I watch so many videos on YouTube and see people standing up for their rights. And I'm like, I would, I would hate to have to be put in a position where I would have to put my knowledge, to the test, but I did. And I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't nervous. I don't know if I can curse on here, but I was fucking
Of
nervous.
course.
I was fucking nervous. But I told myself, I'm like, listen, hold your ground and, do what you got to do. Whatever the outcome is, it is what it is.
Now, you mentioned facing some diversity and some prejudice because of your heritage or perhaps your skin color. Did that play a role in the traffic stop we're seeing in this video?
Oh, 100%. 100%. So, the area that I was in was Dorchester going towards Mass Ave.
All
So
right.
that area there it's like they're just out waiting, man. So when we took that sharp right turn and I saw those lights go off, I'm like, yep, we're in for one. And again, I wasn't driving. I was the passenger. I am the owner of the vehicle, but I was the passenger at the moment. Because like I explained in the video, I had a very long day. I just came out of a 12-hour shift that day. And I told my friend, hey, take over. You drive me to my place and then, take the car. So that's the reason why my friend was behind the wheel when I was in the passenger side. But growing up in Dorchester, I grew up in Harvard Point. Growing up in Dorchester and all those surrounding areas, it was no surprise to me that I was going to get pulled over. I drive a Honda Accord. I don't know if I have anything posted of my vehicle, but it's modified. It draws a lot of attention, so I know that it was going to happen regardless. So that's my take on that. But I definitely do think that it had nothing to do with my tints. 100%.
Now, I don't know how, I think I do know how they look at you, which is why you got pulled over for tint. And it's because that's how it happens, right? They say, oh, the reason we pulled you over is tint. And then the next thing out of his mouth should be, and because of that, I'm pretty sure I'm right. Here's my tint meter. I had it in my pocket. But we need to get you out of the car. There's everything else. Because they look at you a certain way. Now, when I look at you, Boston, American guy, working hard, got a couple of kids. I see the flag that you got there. I saw some of the posts on your Facebook page, especially about 2A. I just see a regular American just trying to do the best he can with what he's got and make that life everything worth living. And
1000%.
that's not how they saw you. They pulled you over. They criminalized you before he even ran your name. I thought it was interesting. And folks at home, if you're watching, don't put past the fact that in the beginning he seemed kind of nice. Okay, if someone shoots you in the head and says, thanks for dying, because they were polite does not mean that they were nice. The very first thing he asked after that was, have you ever been to court before? You walk up to a car with someone other than a white male for tint, then you have no indication you want to even investigate the tint. And your next questions are, don't reach for anything. What's in the bag? Have you been to court before? Because of course you must have. That's a very specific road to go down. And they did that for two reasons. Number one, he's ignorant and he's racist. And number two, because of his training. You know, evil begets evil. The police teach you to do these things. During that stop at any time, you know, you said that you were nervous. Did you ever think that things could get worse?
Oh, 100%. 100%. When I tell you that so many thoughts was racing through my mind at that time, you know, what the outcome could have been of me, you know, just being who I was and trying to stand up for my rights. I knew that I could have potentially been harmed or, you know, worse, you know, dead. Let's just be honest. That's just the world we live in right now, unfortunately. So I knew that those were possibilities. But again, I try to suck all those emotions in and try to hold my ground as much as possible. As you can see, the driver that was with me is not as knowledgeable as I was, and pretty much got his rights violated. He, you know, answered all the questions that he didn't have to answer, and I translated in Spanish to him that he didn't have to answer these questions. But you know, he was very nervous as well too. So I honestly, the outcome, I knew what it could have been. I'm so glad that I was able to just drive away. It was a big relief. If you see the end of the video, you'll see that, you know, when they gave us the okay to drive away, like I'm like, I'm going to my kids, you know, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna see my kids. I'm good. I made it out of this. And to have that mindset is just terrible, man. Like you said, I'm just a regular guy, man. I work hard, I take care of my children, bro. Like, I shouldn't have to, you know, be put in positions. No one should have to be put in a position like that, you know. But I guess it's just the reality.
It's a stark realization. It's a stark realization to understand that you've broken no laws, you've done nothing wrong, you're driving down the street, and you get pulled over. Now, normally, someone's mindset should be, I must have missed a turn signal, I must have just blew a red light or something silly.
That's what I was under the impression, yeah.
Let me get my license and my registration. This will be done quickly. It's a sad state in America, and it's a sentiment that the police can't blame on the citizens, but the citizens have every right to blame on the police. That the moment you get pulled over, I don't care who you are, everyone tenses up a little bit, and it's a normal thing to drive away and say, thank God I made it home. Now, I want you to think of how messed up this is, folks. These are public servants, okay? In their words, they're going to tell you that they're there to serve and protect you. Should you ever be thankful you made it out alive from the person that's sworn to protect you? That's like a you know, an actor or a musician hiring a bodyguard they know is out to kill them, and just be thankful that you made it through the day. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, in this video, Adrian, a couple times, you kept putting your hands on the wheel and you kept saying, you see my hands? You kept reminding him where your hands were and that they were visible. Why did you do that?
Again, for my safety, and just to let them know that I wasn't a threat. So I'm actually in the vehicle right here. This is my personal vehicle. So again, I wasn't behind the wheel. I was in the passenger side. So I let it be known that, you know, my hands are going to be visible. They're going to be where you can see them. And if you want me to keep them here, I will keep them here. And I did so. I couldn't really show too much in the video, but there was one hand holding the camera and the other arm was visible, 100% visible. Not at any moment that I moved my hand to any position where they couldn't see my hands, because I was very fearful. I'm like, I'm not going to take a chance, you know, and put my hand somewhere that looks suspicious to them and give them a reason to, you know, either pull out a gun or, you know, escalate the situation any worse than what it already was.
So, Puerto Rican gentleman driving a modified Honda Civic. If you were a white gentleman driving a 2024 Beamer, do you think this would have happened?
Probably not.
I agree, because it's interesting. They pull you over, but there's people dying on the streets regularly that are receiving no help and no attention, and they won't even go near those people, you know. And I would drive up and down that street, white guy, a lot of jewelry in a nice car, and they won't pull me over. And it's either because they know who I am or because I'm a white guy with nice jewelry driving a nice car. And I think that when you get to a point where not an ordinance isn't what decides if you get pulled over, but the color of your skin. Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like even though all this stuff has happened to you, you're going on unaffected for the most part. Like you still got gas in the tank. How do you keep that positive mindset?
To be honest with you, when you go through situation again, not that I've been through it and any recent times after this last altercation, but you you become numb to certain situations. You build a tolerance for a lot of things, you know. So I build a tolerance to many things that affect me, and once things, you know, become repetitive, you just kind of, you know, you just ignore it, you know. So I went on with my normal day right after that, you know, after the incident. I went home, you know, and hugged my kids like I always do when I don't see them for so long, and kiss them goodnight. Just kept my regular day going, man. I didn't let that affect me at all.
So moving forward, two parts to this question. I know that one of the officers present is watching this video. There's not a cop in Massachusetts that doesn't know the name of this channel. So I can guarantee you one of them are watching. If they're watching right now, based on what happened in the car, and now you've had a couple, you know, a little bit to digest what happened, you have their undivided attention. What do you say to them?
Honestly, I would say, don't judge a book by its cover, man. You know, give the people a benefit of a doubt. Only if they knew me on a personal level, you know, they would have known that I'm a law-abiding citizen. I do my best, you know, to provide for my family. Um, Dude, I'm as cool as they come, bro. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, bro, but I'm as cool as they come, you know. And I wish that they will give people the opportunity or the benefit of doubt. You know, I get the whole, you know, mindset that police officers have that, you know, if it quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, what could it be? You know, I understand that. Like, I get it. But enough is enough, you know. Um, and to them, I would just say, man, just don't judge a book by its cover, man. Uh, I was as tough as I may look. I was shaking in my boots, my man. I was shaking in my boots the whole entire time. I don't even know. I'm gonna be honest with you, Josh. I don't even know how I wasn't able to stutter or slur any of my words while I was doing that whole process because I was nervous as fuck, bro. I
Well,
was
it's
nervous, man.
pure adrenaline. At that point, everything's coming out on its own. It's like after you suffer a serious injury, you
Yep.
know, you can still function for a good amount of time because the adrenaline coursing through your veins can keep you going. And when you're in a life or death situation, and for all intents and purposes, you have more, there's a higher likelihood that you'll be killed by a police officer than almost anything else. I mean, last year, only less than 600 officers were injured at the hands of citizens, not all deaths. But almost 2,000 citizens were killed at the hands of police officers. This is a serious level of danger when you're meeting any officer, especially with the fact that there's really no education required, and it takes longer to become a barber than it does a cop. And I trust my barber way more than I do any cop. And for this to be turning into the epidemic that it has, and especially with Adrian, right? Let me tell you something, folks. So Adrian, I had to really he's not looking for spotlight. I had to kind of corral him on. And he was like, you know, I don't really want the spotlight. I'm not looking to try and make it all about me or put my face out there. I just want some accountability. And a lot of people, the moment they get a little bit of camera time, that's what it's all about. I had to push Adrian to come on here. And the only reason he did is because he wanted to make sure that something like this didn't happen to you. And the way that you keep it from happening to you is to be educated like him. You know, he's just a regular guy like me. He took his phone out, and this is a career killer. That's what Adrian did. He captured the end of a couple police officers' careers, which brings me to my last question. What do you think the punishment should be? That cop violated your Fourth Amendment right. He tried to open your door. Even though he didn't succeed, he still tried to. There's serious case law in response to that. What do you think the consequences should be for this guy?
Fired. 100% fired. Some more training, a bunch of stuff. Josh, if you watch the videos, I mean, it's just like embedded in my head because I've seen it so many times, and since I posted it on TikTok, my notifications are just not stopping. And if you can see that Officer Barbosa, when he reaches for the door handle, and I asked him, "What am I being detained for?" He didn't have an answer for me, and
Right.
That shook, the little shake in his head and looking at his partner for answers. That's a look of a person who's unsure of what he's doing, and that that alone is scary. You know, that shouldn't be a guy with a badge. That should not be a
Or
guy
a
with a
gun,
badge.
for that matter.
Or a gun.
Because, I mean, we're talking about the basic principles of law. I mean, I think the first time I ever learned about search and seizure was from Jay-Z. The glove compartment's locked, so is the trunk in the back. And that embedded into my brain, and that made me want, oh, really? I don't have to let cops search all my stuff? And, you know, I knew it was going downhill when you asked him, you know, what law is searching my bag? And he said officer safety. And I was like, this is bad. At this point, this guy's First, Second, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights are thrown out the window so this guy could feel safe. I mean, listen, if he's walking around with a 30-pound utility vest, a body cam, bulletproof armor, AR-15, a sidearm on him, bear spray, he's got all these weapons. If he has all these weapons, he's that armed, and he's walking up to an unarmed citizen, and he's still that much of a pussy, it's time to invest in a career change.
No, seriously. And to put in perspective for everyone that didn't see on camera, because it wasn't visible, the bag that they were so concerned about was a Burberry cross bag that I carry on my chest with all my daily essentials. So, you know, just license, cash, you know, stuff that I carry with me all the times. It was just, I always carry this bag. It goes with me everywhere. It's part of my clothes. Like, I wear it everywhere. So that's the bag that he was so adamant about getting into.
You know what? And I hate to say it, but I bet you he thought it was stolen. Racist piece of shit. I bet you thought it was stolen.
I wouldn't be surprised, my man. I wouldn't be surprised.
So I got a lawyer, and of course, I can help you find your own. But you're looking to sue this guy?
100%. 100%.
You don't seem like the guy that's gonna, you know. I tell people if you stand for this, you'll bend for that. And you look like the type of guy that will deal with an awful lot for himself or his family, because it's the right thing to do for your family. But the moment someone tries to oppress or tread or prejudice you, you stand up. So what's next for you? Is this kind of like a one-time thing and you'll see what happens? Do you plan to explore civil rights?
Honestly, I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna see what's next. I'm gonna see what's out there. But I'm just personally, like I told you, Josh, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said earlier. I don't like the shot. I don't like the light. I'm not the guy that likes to be on the camera. That's not who I am. It even took me a while to even think about posting the videos on TikTok. But I did it because I want to shine the light on, you know, people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? People that look like me, dress like me, that are good people, because we're not all bad. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna post this because I know there's another Adrian. I know there's a wait, not my neighbor. I know there's another Adrian out there that looks just like me, and I would hate to see him or her go through the same situation that I went through that day. And if I can, you know, reach out to other people and show them that a guy of me with all these tattoos, this beard, and the way I carry myself and how I dress can stand up for my rights, you can too. And that's the reason why I did it. And that's it, man. And I honestly hope that video reaches millions and millions of people, and people you know, it motivates people to stand up for themselves.
I mean, just know that, you know, for example, every 48 hours, I get about 350-ish thousand views, sometimes way up, but usually right around there. So people are going to watch this video and they're going to see what you did. And I can't tell you how many people that I've met that'll say, oh, Josh, I didn't know that I didn't have to ID as a passenger until I saw your video, or cops couldn't make me get back into the car. And there's going to be someone that is going to be feeling the same way that you did that day. They're going to be petrified. They're going to be shaking. They're going to be looking at a picture of their kid on their phone right before they press that record button. And they're going to be unsure. They might think it's best not to do it. They're going to think of you. They're going to remember this video. They might even play it back real quick so they can remember what to say. And I'll tell you one thing. They don't just end a career. They also save a life. I think that you're brave for what you did.
Appreciate it.
True Boston bred down to the core. And I think that, you know, people should be very impressed with you. And I think the state police should be in great fear of you. Because it's hard to hire more cops when you're paying out hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits for violating one American's civil rights. So, Adrian, thank you for coming on. And any last message you want to give to the folks listening?
Josh, I want to thank you as well, my brother, for reaching out to me and helping me put light to the situation. And to anybody watching this video, stand up for your rights, man. Stop letting them bully us. Don't be scared because of the way we look. Like I said, tattoos, I got it all, the whole shebang. And if I did it, you could do it. And it's time for us to stand up as people. And I mean, when I say people, I mean as Americans, no matter what color we are, we all need to stand together and fight evil, you know? And that's my message to the people. And God bless everybody on here.
Thanks. Folks, that's Adrian. Stay tuned. When he starts, if we can talk him into it, his own YouTube channel, I'll let you know. And definitely a guy to follow and a guy to watch out for. I appreciate all you Americans at home sitting down, taking the time to watch this video. I think it's important that we shine the light on folks like this guy. Because if not like someone like Adrian, I wouldn't be here right now. If not like someone like Adrian, I wouldn't be getting the emails that I'm getting from you people at home saying, wow, that video saved my life. And that's what it's all about. Every time cops take a life, we need to save 2 more. And that's the reason I stopped you today.
100%.
I hope Trooper Barbosa and his cohorts walked away from that stop feeling real tough, like tyrants, imposing their perceived authority on innocent civilians. They like to go by the name law enforcement officer. Now it looks like that name has been changed to defendant. I'm currently working with Adrian to get him legal representation from my own attorney. And once the lawsuit's filed, these troopers might just be feeling the same anxiety that Adrian felt that day. And that's the reason I stopped you today.